أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We have chapter 7, verse 181. And we're going to finish the chapter tonight, inshallah. So let's get going.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Starting at chapter 7, verse 181.
181. 181.
Yes, ma'am. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And amongst our creation are a group who guide according to the truth, and they are equitable. As for those who reject our proofs, we will rank them in such a way that they would not even realize it. And I give them time. Indeed, my plan is formidable. Do they not realize that their friend is not possessed by jinns? He is a manifest warner. Do they not look into the kingdom of the vacua and matter, and how God created everything? And do they not think that their interim may be almost over? Therefore, in which hadith beside this do they believe? Whomever God sends astray, he has no guide, and he leads them in their rebellious ways, blundering. They ask you about the hour and when it will come to pass. Say, indeed, its knowledge is with my Lord. No one reveals its time except him. Heavy it is indeed in the vacua and matter. It will not come to pass except suddenly. They ask you as though you know about it. Say, indeed, its knowledge is with God. However, most people do not know. Say, I cannot benefit or harm myself except in accordance with God's will. And if I knew the future, I would have increased the prosperity for myself, and no evil would have touched me. I am no more than a warner as well as a bearer of good news for the faithful. He is the one who created you from a single soul and made from her her mate in order to achieve tranquility with her. Then once the conception occurred, she carries a small load that hardly can be noticed. Then when it becomes heavier, they implore God, the Lord of both. If you only grant us a righteous one, we will indeed be grateful. However, when he grants the two of them a righteous one, they set up a partner for him out of what he has given them. After all, God is the exalted one, far above having partners. Are they setting up partners for him who have not created a thing and themselves are created? Those who are powerless to help them or even help themselves. And if you invite them to guidance, they will not follow you. It is the same if you invite them or keep quiet. Surely those who call upon other than God are imploring servants like you. Therefore, call upon them and see if they can respond to you if you are truthful. Do they not have legs with which they walk? Do they not have hands with which they defend themselves? Do they not have eyes with which they can see? Do they not have ears with which they can hear? Say, call upon your partners for God to smite me without delay. Indeed, God is my ally, the one who revealed the scripture, and he is the ally of the righteous. As for those who call upon those besides him, are calling upon those who cannot help them, nor can they help themselves. And if you call to guidance, they will not hear. You see them looking at you, but they do not see. You shall pardon them and encourage them to righteousness, and ignore the ignorant ones. And when Satan whispers to you with an enticement, you shall immediately seek refuge in God. Indeed, he is the all-hearing, all-knowing. Surely those who are God-fearing, when a visitor from Satan approaches them, they remember and they are alert. And their brethren constantly pull them towards straying, and they never cease. And if you do not produce a sign for them, they say, "One not demand one." Say, "Indeed, I obey what is inspired to me from my Lord." This is a portent from your Lord, and guidance as well as a mercy for the people who have faith. And when the Quran is recited, you shall listen to it and be quiet, that you may attain mercy. You shall remember your Lord with all your soul, implore earnestly, privately, and without uttering a word, day and night, and do not be heedless. As for those who are at your Lord, they are never too arrogant to serve him, and they glorify him, and they fall prostrate to him.
Thank you. Very good. Okay. Any questions, comments, observations?
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum assalam, yes.
Sir, I have a comment on verse 205.
Yes.
It's actually just a wonderful reminder that our worship of God is a very, very personal and private thing. It literally says privately and without uttering a word day and night.
Yes.
It's an individual thing that brings us closer to God, and it's an awesome thing to see in writing like that.
Yeah, this fall into the class of the idea that we've been talking about, that think about God all the time. See, so when you do that, nobody knows that you're thinking about God, but God knows that, and so this is that idea, the idea of privately and without uttering a word, day and night, and do not be heedless. And so it's a good reminder for all of us, okay, that we should remember God all the time. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Okay. Any other question, observations, or comments?
Salam, Dr. Fazly.
Alaikum salam. Yes, Shafi. Go ahead, please.
In 7204, it talks about when the Quran is recited, you shall listen to it and be quiet, that you may attain mercy. This we must remember, really, because many times we don't. And also, I remembered it from Surah 46, verse 29. It talks about, and when we led to you a group of jinns to listen to the Quran.
Yes.
When they arrived, they said, be quiet. And when it was over, they went to the people warning.
Yep.
So 2 times it has been mentioned, and so the jinns have understand it just as much as those of us who believe do also.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
That was.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
That's a pleasure. Salam.
That is true. Walaikum salam. It is very true. Okay, any other comments or questions, observations?
Salam, Dr. Fazly.
Walaikum assalam, yes.
In 7:200, it tells you, it's a reminder when Satan whispers to you with an enticement, shall immediately seek refuge in God.
Yes.
And when God-fearing, when a visitor from Satan approaches them, they remember and they're alert, and their brethren constantly pull them towards straying, and they never cease. So we always have this problem that inside us whispering in 7202, we are never alone. We always have these brethren constantly pulling us towards straying, and most of the time we actually forget to seek refuge in God.
Yes.
And keep on doing, thinking, like you said, that you must stop it as soon as you have it. Otherwise, that thought can become action.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, but I mean, we talked about it. Even thinking about it just as sinful as doing it. So we have to avoid it as much as we can. And it is difficult, but God is saying that if it comes as some kind of ideal enticement, you shall immediately seek refuge in God. Okay, so that's what we have to do in order to stay away from Him. And God will give us refuge.
Yes. This one in 7 verse 186, whomever God sends astray, he has no guide. Actually, we are going astray with these devils and the whispers that they're doing. But since God is doing everything, this is how He writes it, and leaves them in the rebellious ways, blundering. This one is, do they not look into the kingdom of Vakwa and matter? So God's kingdom is everything. It's just, this is a big thing that we don't reflect upon. And we don't understand that He's the inheritor of everything as well.
Yeah, well, existence of all things is because of God.
Yes.
Otherwise, nothing would exist.
That's true.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Salam, Dr. Fazly.
Walaikum salam, Nishrat. Yes, go ahead, please.
Verse 190, when it talks about when a couple asks for a righteous child, and when God grants them the child, they make partners. Is it referring to that child as a partner, or
yes? Yes.
Oh, okay.
The child, yeah. They love him so much that that becomes a substitute for worshiping God alone. You see, and so pay so much attention to the child, and so God says that this is something that they should avoid, that people should avoid. That God has given a gift to them, and that's it. They should be grateful for that gift, and that's as far as they should go. Number one priority in everybody's life should be God and God alone, and no one else.
True, and we see a lot of people bragging about their children, and as if they have something to do with whatever talent or special gifts that kid has. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're very right about that. Okay, I know I've been the victim of receiving all those things from many people, and I just have to keep a straight face. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they do not give that thing to God. You see, that the reason that that kid's smart is not because of him, is because God gave him that understanding. And so God should be the one to we have to give the credit to God where the credit is due, rather than that somehow this kid deserves it because of A, B, and C, and D. Okay, so yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Fazl, just a follow-up comment on this point, if you don't mind, sir.
Sure, please.
The broader message, of course, is that anything that can be very easily a partner for God, and your child, for example, is maybe the last place that you would look, right? And you hardly think that that's where the test could be, and I think it's a warning to be on the lookout for literally anything, not just this specific instance, but anything can become a test. If a child can become a test, then certainly a spouse or anything for that matter is equally an issue. And I think the child is used because it's literally the last place you would look. So nothing's off limits here. We have to be always on our guard.
That is true. That is very true. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Very good. Very good. Okay. Are there any other comments or questions, observations?
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam, Mahmoud. Go ahead, please.
Just to continue on that subject, God says, your children and your money are fitna or test.
Yes, it is. Yes, yes.
And they are. You can spend so much time and either counting or just being, praising your kids. That you become like Solomon. Remember?
Yeah, exactly.
He was fallen in love with these horses, and the most important thing he forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what basically I mean. You completely so overwhelmed with joy and spending time, you forget commemorating God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's warning us about.
That's very true. Very true. You're absolutely right. Yes. Yes.
On the verses that you interpreted, what verse is it? 195. Yeah, 195 and 194. I see no negative. Is it a negative? When I look at Rashad's, you said you interpreted, do they not have? And I'm looking at Rashad, it has, do they have? So you put not in every, so do they have or do they not have?
Negative. Yeah, the reason I made it negative because it doesn't sound like the other way.
Uh-huh.
You see, I mean.
But if you look, maybe it's some kind of
legs with which they walk.
Hmm.
I mean, that in English.
Like Jesus or Muhammad, for example.
Yeah.
Do they have legs? No. I mean, they used to have, but only God knows where they are. So.
Yeah.
I was a little bit maybe.
Yeah, I know. I'll think of how to say it.
Yeah.
Because it has to sound correct too. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
When you translate into English, because it doesn't have equivalent of that.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe someone make a rock or some icon that they are making. I mean, there's no legs or hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look into it. Thank you for mentioning that, though. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God bless you. Salaam.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Welcome, Salam Nishat. Yes, go ahead, please.
Can I ask about the verse that we read last week?
Last week? Yes. Yes. Which one was it?
164, please.
Okay.
Can you explain it? I don't understand what the verse is trying to say.
Well, they want to hide the scripture from people. The group amongst them said, "Why enlighten the people whom God would annihilate or punish them severely anyway?" So basically, they've given up on them, and they say, "Well, these guys, they don't deserve to hear the scripture."
Okay. The second sentence, it says they responded. Who is they?
They said that this part of this group of people.
So one group was saying, "Do not ask for forgiveness for them," and the other.
They responded, because this is an apology to your Lord, and for them that they may become righteous. So they are basically saying that you have to do it because of this. You see? Because you are apologizing to your Lord, and they also could become righteous, because you don't know that. You have to give the message to everybody. You cannot hide it from a group of people. So there was a debate there amongst these guys, and this group was saying this, and another group was saying this.
And the second group is right, because we can't judge people.
That's right, because it would be an apology to your Lord, which means that you're apologizing to your Lord by giving him this message.
Oh,
for them to maybe become righteous. We don't know that if they're not going to become righteous. We don't know that. When Moses went to Pharaoh's palace, he didn't know that there was a believing Egyptian there. So the message was given to everybody, and including the magicians. Magicians look like a hopeless case. So, because magicians at the very beginning, they were pro-Pharaoh. But they realized after they saw the proofs, they saw that Moses is right. So they took the other side. They became righteous.
And they're saying that the second group is saying that this is an apology to your Lord, meaning that from us or from people who are
from that other
judging.
Group of people. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anything else? By the way, this was good, because these things should not be just limited to these verses that we read tonight. Okay? If there are any questions or ambiguity or anything, please go ahead and ask, or if you want to make any comment about other things, please go ahead and do so.
Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum salam. Yes, go ahead, please.
Hi. I just wanted to thank you. I was listening to the Juma from last week, and I really wanted to thank you and say that I really appreciated the breakdown. And I know that those PowerPoints are not easy to make, and neither is redoing the charting on the other, like on the PowerPoint itself. So I really want to say that I appreciate your effort in making sure you broke down how we understood the equation and how we understood the indexes of the exponent. And it did not, well, for me, I can speak for myself, that whole breakdown and your whole explanation of it did not go to waste. And, of course, all praise is to God first for that. And I also wanted to say also as well today, when you showed us how to look on the Wikipedia page and search for that information on our own. I mean, I appreciated that as well. So I just wanted to tell you thank you because sometimes I don't feel like I say thank you, but I just wanted to say I really appreciated that. And I felt like that explanation really did open up my eyes to understanding just how significant the number 19 is, and how God is able to guide you to show us these signs. So I just wanted to say thank you, God, and also thank you, Dr. Fazely, for the effort. And salam alaikum.
Well, thank you. Alaikum assalam. Yeah, thank you very much, and I'm glad that this is useful. And as I said, I want to explain it more and more because sometimes, I understand it, so I think that everybody picks up all of these nuances as easily as I do. And, to some extent, I'm guilty of that. So I have to basically bring it down to a level that everybody can understand.
She grown and learn. I already got it. He listened to me got here talking to me. For real, he ain't gonna let them know whatever. They ain't gonna talk, communicate, you know what I mean? And she really.
So anyway, what I was saying is that we really, a lot of this stuff is basically on the web now, and so can be verified very easily by just spending just a little bit of time. And so when I say, for example, additive prime, for example, or Gaussian prime, or Mersenne prime, they're all there. So one can investigate all of these for themselves, for himself or herself, and that's the approach that we are taking. That there is nothing hidden here. There's no agenda or anything, so people can go in and look it up themselves. And also question comes up. Why is the 19th additive prime is 139, and 139 happens to be the number of letters in the opening surah of the Quran? Why? That question has to come up. Okay. We owe that question to ourselves. Just a simple thing. Why should it be like that? Okay. And these are things that we have to ask these questions because we owe this question. God says, I've given you the brain I've given you the eyesight and the hearing, the eyesight and the brain, and you are responsible for using them. We are responsible for that because we have the understanding. We can do these things. So I'm glad that this is useful. So I'm just going to go on and do more of these things so I can explain things, and inshallah, so we can all be on the same wavelength, so to speak.
Dr. Fazly, salam alaikum. I just had one more request. It wasn't specifically to you, but it was to Mahmoud and Barry. They said that they have YouTube channels, and I would like, if it's okay with them, if they could share it in the chat below, if that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, we need more and more people to log on to those channels.
Okay. Thank you so much again.
They're about 10 minutes long or something. They're not, and so they're explained very well. So yeah, they can. Mahmoud can give you the address for that, or he can send it to me, and I can send it to people that have their emails. I probably have your emails too, so I can send it to everybody. Mahmoud, are you there?
Yes, salam alaikum, brother. Yes.
Okay. So
I'm trying to.
YouTube channel address.
And I can base it's God alone. But my son told me if I don't have 100 likes or something, I cannot own their name. So it's very hard to find now. But it's a God alone. I made a register. God Alone Productions. That's what I put the videos. Just the ones that you send me at the moment.
Okay.
But inshallah, as we grow, I think we have maybe 30 or 29 likes. So as it goes, then it becomes ours. So we can, then it will be easier to find.
Yeah.
But I will post it before we end tonight. I will post for the sister, and we can all see.
Okay.
Let me copy it.
Okay, so you put it here. And Liz actually has it.
Liz did it.
Liz did it already, so it's right there.
Oh no, that's J 9127. That's not the one.
That's not the one. Okay.
No, that's the one. That's a different channel. I think he did the other one too. Let me see. Yeah, that's the one. God alone.
This is the one?
The lower one.
The lower one, okay.
That's the one I read. God alone.
No, this is the one. This is the one. Okay. Can everybody? Okay, can you hear this or not? Can everybody hear?
No, we can't hear.
You can't hear.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry. This thing has gone into this funny mode again. Okay. All right. But anyway, they are there, and so you can look at it for yourself and see. And yeah, I think she got it. Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, anything else? Any other comments or question, observations? Any discussions?
Salam, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum salam, Maryam. Yes, go ahead, please.
The verse 187.
Yes.
So God talks about the hereafter, basically. I mean, the day of reckoning. So the hour. Sorry, yeah.
Yes.
You're right. So it describes a heaviness there. Heavy it is indeed in the vacua and matter. Would you be able to share your understanding of what is this heaviness in the vacua and matter?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, this is when the laws as we know them are going to end. See, the laws of physics as we know them are based on equations, and those laws are going to end as laws of physics. And so now this heaviness could be interpreted in many, many ways. It could be surprising, it could be something which is unexpected, that we do not understand it, and all kinds of things. So, or it could be some kind of physical thing that happens that we do not understand very well. Okay.
I see. Thank you so much. Thank
sure,
you.
Sure. I want to go back to the beginning of this chapter when we started. Actually, it says that amongst our creation are a group who guides according to the truth, and they are equitable. As for those who reject our proofs, we will rank them in such a way that they would not even realize it. Okay, this is again, rejecting God proofs is a huge mistake by people. Do not pay attention. People who do not pay attention and reject, because some people just say this is just a bunch of malarkey. It's not true. Without even delving into it, why this is the fact, why these things. That's why I said we owe those questions to ourselves. We owe it to ourselves that we have to ask those questions. Why is it like this? Why is God says over this 19, then the 19th additive prime is 139, which happens to be the number of letters in the alphabet? Okay, I mean, that is amazing. We need to ask those questions. Okay? And if somebody tells us that they want to reject it, okay, we have to ask that question from them. The same question we have to ask from them. We have to ask that same question from them. Why? You explain to me why. Okay? And so, as I said, it becomes more complicated because then again, 139th additive form was 1657. If you write 1657 in base 19, and then you transfer it into base 10, becomes 9127 in base 10. Why? Why? So that's why God says in 13:15, we read today that they do it willingly or unwillingly. Doesn't matter. They prostrate to God. Everybody prostrates to God, willingly or unwillingly. They have no other option. Okay. So when we see these things, these mathematics, we see alongside the literal assertions of the Quran, then we see why those verses are actually constructed in those fashions. Why God's saying these things. Okay, because by the force of numbers, we have no other option. We have to obey it. Okay. And that's the amazing part about it. And so God says here, as for those who reject our proofs, we will rank them in such a way that they would not even realize it. Okay? It says, and I give them time. Indeed, my plan is formidable. And so these are all warnings to people who take these things lightly. Well, not only take it lightly, they make fun of it, they reject them, they do not study deep into this field to see what's going on. They're just making comments, and so it's a very dangerous attitude.
Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Jay. Yes, go ahead, please.
Reference 182, when it said that we will rank them.
Yes.
What is your understanding of that?
The rank is very low. It's a very low rank. But they do not perceive it. They think that they are in charge. See? But that perception that they have is not the way that they are ranked. They think that they have a high rank. They think that they are in charge and everything. But they really have a low rank and they do not perceive it. That's what God is saying here.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, are there any other comments or observations?
Salam alaikum, Dr. Fazely.
Walaikum salam. Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just thinking as he was, I'm sorry, that's my son in the background. As he was mentioning that verse, that, that just calls for all the times in my life, like with this journey I've had with God, for me to think like that I thought I had it, like I thought I got it, and that, I never have it. And that sometimes our own ego fools us into thinking that we have it. And it's just a very scary thing to think of, that, you got to constantly question yourself on how you're believing in God and what you think you know. And it's also very humbling. And I think that that's the reminder when I hear that verse, to ask God for his mercy and his guidance constantly, because sometimes you fool your own self to thinking that you are somewhere and you're really nowhere. Like, it's just the grace of God even to have this forum or to have a certain level of understanding. So that's salam alaikum, and I just wanted to comment.
Walaikum salam. Thank you. Yeah, very appropriate. Yes, we have to have that self-diagnostic, that we have to examine ourselves and see where we are. Sometimes God tests us. And so test our patience, our perseverance, to see if we endeavor to persevere or not, and that is very difficult for a lot of people. It's not easy. Okay? Things are coming, crashing on you and everything, and so you lose patience and see what's going on and things like that. And but God is there and He's testing us, and He opens another door. And we have to just be patient and put our trust in Him. Okay, are there any other questions or comments or observations or discussions?
Salam, Dr. Fazly.
Alaikum salam, yes.
In our Friday prayer today, so the 139 additive prime is the 1657. And then, of course, the 1657 in base 19 is 9127 in base 10. But when you did that, you were commenting using the verse 1315. about the willingly and or unwillingly, which I understood, I think, what you wanted to share with us. But I wanted to know if what pointed you to that verse, is it from this mathematics, or you were inspired to go and...
Well, yeah, I mean, the mathematics, see, the mathematics is telling you that you're uttering those words anyway. And so...
Okay. No, I get that, Dr. Fazely. What I mean is, what direct you to that verse? I thought there was maybe something in your presentation when we did the 139, then we ended up with the 1657, that there was something there that took you to that verse 13:15. But I get it about the willingly and unwillingly, and I fully agree with you, and actually was very enlightening to me. Because yes, you're right about people wondering why we should be.
They stopped me before he said, no, that ain't what I'm saying. I mean,
trying. I think somebody keeps on.
I just muted everybody. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Miriam, and continue, please.
Sorry, Dr. Fazely.
That's okay. It's not your fault. No.
Yeah, I don't know why this person does not realize. I mean, if you are unmuted, they can hear themselves, but they keep just talking. I don't know why, but...
it's an open mic, yeah, somebody's part, yes.
Okay. So Dr. Fazely, all that I wanted to know is from the 1657, strictly from a mathematic perspective, is there something that pointed you to the verse 13:15, chapter 13, verse 15, or made you were inspired to talk about the willingly and unwillingly in the light of this mathematics?
No, it was just an observation. It was just observation on my part that everybody does that anyway. See, when people do the Al-Fatih during the prayers, they do that.
Yes.
So by the force of mathematics, they're basically saying 9 has 127 verses. So it doesn't matter if they believe in that or do not believe in that, they are actually saying it is.
Yes. And actually, it was very, very enlightening, because I've never thought of it from that perspective.
Yeah.
I always thought unwillingly is basically about the rest of the creation or something like that. But it's true that a lot of people utters actually the Al-Fatiha not knowing exactly what they are saying. So
yes.
You're right about that. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Any other comments or questions, observations?
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I just want to bring out the 4731, when you and the sister were talking about the test. And the test that you have to go through all the time. When God is telling you that you will be tested. We will surely test you. As well as 29, 2 and 3. So those 3 verses are very powerful. We will test you until you will distinguish those among you who will strive and resort to patience, and we will inform you. We will inform your situation.
Yes.
You know, as we know, the 29:2 says we will certainly put you to the test. We have tested those before you, and we will test you as well.
Yes.
To distinguish those among you who are truthful from the liars. I'm a Muslim. I'm a believer. That doesn't work. You have to go through the test.
That's true.
And you have to. Your true colors must be exposed.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Okay. Anything else? Any other comments, observations, or discussions? Okay, if there are no more questions, and so we're closed for tonight, and we'll do our usual 3 alpha guys, and we have